Hey, yesterday was camp day, so there were so many little kids with Fever jerseys on. And it was interesting watching in the pregame, you guys trying to get ready for the game, but also, people were there to see you and spend a moment with you. How do you balance getting ready to do your job with popularity?
Yeah, I think it's a balance you have to try to figure out. This fan base is new to a lot of us, and they're the best fan base in the whole W, and so they're always going to be here, even if we're not playing at home. Regardless of where we're at, we have a ton of fans everywhere we go, and so it's kind of learning the balance of when you need to dial in, you need to dial in, but when you're not, go ahead and interact with the fans, like inspire those young boys and girls. Say thank you to the parents for bringing their kids there, and so I think we're all pros, so you just got to act like a pro, and that's part of being a pro.
How does Caitlin specifically, do you think, handle that?
I have no idea. You got to ask her. That girl's brain is different, so that's all on you.
It seems kind of halfway through the season, you guys are still experiencing some inconsistency, whether it be on and off the court. Obviously, rosters change too. Just what do you think going forward you guys need to do to get some consistency?
Man, I think that everyone saw that we kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game. And so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know what the potential of this team can be, but we can't think about that. You really have to take day to day and stuff that worked here, we need to carry it over to tomorrow's game. We have a lot of games coming up in I think like 7 days or whatnot, and so it's mentally making sure that we're good. It's physically making sure we're getting recovery, making sure we're taking care of our bodies off the court, but we're trying to figure it out, and I think you guys see it. I think we're all a little frustrated. We're trying to figure out what's clicking, what's not clicking, what works for us defensively, but at the end of the day, I think what we can hang our hat on is not getting outworked, making sure that we're the aggressors, making sure that we're getting boards, controlling what we can control. And I think we need to do a better job at that. And if we can do that, I think stuff offensively will open up for us.
Do you feel like that's part of your role, I guess, when it comes to aggression, grit, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just making sure our energy is where it needs to be. It's making sure our focus is where it needs to be. I think we're all a little bit exhausted, but everyone is. We have a lot of games this season. That's part of being a pro. And what a blessing that we get to dribble in orange basketball for a living. And so sometimes it's taking a step back and having a better perspective and being grateful for it. But I think tomorrow night you're going to see a lot of fight. We're starting to get a little bit pissed off, and that's, I think, what we need. We need a fire under our butts, and we should have had yesterday. We have to give credit to them. They're a great team, the Valkyries, but it's not to our standard, and so we need to. We're running out of time, to be honest, and I think that it's going to light a fire under our butts, and so hopefully you'll see kind of that energy shift tomorrow.
When you say you guys are a little pissed off, is that like specifically after yesterday? Is it just kind of the culmination of it?
I think all of it, right? It's like we have really good spurts, but it's just the consistency piece. And it's why are we not being consistent? Why are we not clicking when we need to click? Why do we get low when they go on a run? Like, it's basketball. This is the best league in the whole entire world. They're going to go on runs. That's what's supposed to happen in a game. But how do you handle that? How can you mentally and physically manage that? And so I do think that's part of my role, is making sure that the team stays together, making sure that, if we get a bad call or something bad happens, you come in, what are you going to do? What's the next play that we're going to do in order for us to get it back? And so we're trying to figure it out. We're all new. We have a new roster, but hopefully this one stays consistent and we can build off of it.
How, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but how difficult has it? Does it feel like you guys have had to toggle back and forth between identities with, like, Caitlin out, Caitlin's back, Caitlin out now, back and forth sort of thing?
Yeah, and it's no one's fault. I mean, no one wants to see anyone injured, right? And it's when she is playing with us, we play a different style of basketball, and it's almost like two different teams, right? When she's with us, you play a different style. When she's hurt, which hopefully she's done being hurt, Lord, please hear us, and then we play a whole nother different style. But I do think that once we catch rhythm with her in, we're going to be really, really good. But we can't just keep saying it. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
What do you think's contributed to the offense when there's these 8-minute periods where there's
nothing?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, yesterday, we're never going to shoot 30% again, I hope. We have too much offensive weapons on the floor to be shooting like that. I think we were a little out of whack, out of rhythm, but at the end of the day, you got to step up and knock down your shots, and that's myself included. Not so sure why we're missing our shots, but today's a new day. I think energy was a little low, but we were dialed in, and then that's a step forward in the right direction. But tomorrow, we owe them. We owe everyone at this point. And so my biggest point is control what you can control. You can't control your shot always going in, but what you can control is your effort on defense, your communication, outworking the other team. There are so many things that we can do to impact the game instead of just our shot falling. And so we have to mentally flip that switch.
All-star appearance for you. I guess how did it feel, to get that honor again and just knowing again that you've been here quite some time and the last few years obviously have resulted in this reward?
I think it's a big moment for the city. I'm glad to be representing Indiana to get that selection. I think it's fun for our group, the ones that did make on our team. I think it's an opportunity for us to have fun, be who we are. But I think individually for me, it'll always be a grateful moment because anybody know my career. I've always kind of flew under the radar, been who I am, but these moments are always special for me.
You guys have kind of talked about having inconsistency this season, both on the court with that competitiveness and off court, obviously with injuries and other things. Just how do you think you guys can get more consistent going into the second half of the season?
Hopefully we don't take steps back when we have experiences and our lessons taught. Yesterday was a lesson. It was a butt whooping actually, and so hopefully you look at it, you learn from it. You don't look at it as an opportunity to not grow. So I think individually you got to take a couple checks in the mirror. Then as a group, you got to collectively get on the same page about using the moment for what it was and not letting it happen again.
Sophie used the word pissed off to describe, I guess, the mood more generally with you guys. Just with the inconsistency, is that how you feel like you guys feel is accurate?
Her words are her words. I think for our group, it's, everybody has a sense of agitation that you go through about, figuring out where you want to be as a group. If it was easy, everybody else would be doing it. So I think we're supposed to be doing what we're doing for a reason. And I think that this is an opportunity to fight or flight. And, I like to think that our group is going to keep fighting, no matter what happens. So I guess pissed is the right word.
Atlanta's a tough team. I think they've given you some tough games this season. So what's been the focus heading into that matchup?
Man. For one, you got to turn the page from what was. And I think for, knowing who we play, you have to be mindful of the fact that everyone's trying to win and cut our heads off. And, you get your best from everybody, and you got to use these moments and match the intensity. So playing BG and playing, Alicia Gray, who's also an all-star, and Ryan, everything that comes with it, you got to be ready for the moment from a standpoint of, you got to punch first. And I like to think that, we tired of getting punched in the face, so we're going to punch first tomorrow, no matter what happens.
What stands out to you about those dry spells when you guys go 8+ minutes, shots aren't falling, things just feel stuck out there?
I think it obviously sucks when you're in it, which is why it's always, my hat's off to these guys that make playoff runs, Pacers, those guys. It's a different respect that you have to have for when it just doesn't go your way. And I think for us, it was just about making sure that we didn't separate, and we separated a little bit. So when it goes bad, we got to find a way to stay together regardless of the outcome. And those opportunities I'm talking about that we can't miss anymore. It just can't happen no more.
Damiris, what was it like being with your national team and having great success over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, very special for me. I love to play for Brazil, for the national team. I see my people, my family come to Chile too, so it's very special.
Was it frustrating for you not to play in that preseason game against Brazil in Iowa?
Yes, a little bit. It's the first time I play against Brazil. I don't play, but my team play against Brazil. Yeah, I feel a little bit sad, but it's okay.
You injured your ankle at some point during that tournament. Just how are you feeling kind of coming back? I know you came back during the tournament.
I feel good. It's nothing crazy. I played the last 2 games. I don't feel nothing. Todd checked yesterday. I feel good.
I know you played for Brazil throughout your life, but how much gratitude is it to every time you put on that jersey?
Very special for me. It's like a dream. I dream these moments of my life. So I love playing for my country. I love to see my people. I love put the jars. This year, I think I'm 15 years play for the national team. It's very special. I love it.
Just coming back into the fold here with the Fever, where do you feel like you guys as a group need to improve as you finish out this little stretch before All-Star?
I think for our now is just stay together, bring good energy, and have fun. I love to be back. I think I help my teammate more. Now I have a good energy. I have a good moment with national team. I hope I bring everything now here and help the Fever.
Were you able to watch their cup win while you were gone, or to see much of that after you get the bonus because of it?
Sorry?
The cup championship game, you weren't able to be in that title game, but were you able to follow or see them?
Yeah, I watch every game.
Yeah.
I watch every game. Sometimes it's like 11 p.m., but I watch every game.
She saw the money hit the bank
There you
account.
go. Yep.
Not yet. It's coming.
Just coming off of yesterday, your teammates were saying the energy was kind of low, just maybe the effort wasn't there. Like, how did you, I guess, see what happened yesterday? How are you guys looking to bounce back going tomorrow?
I'll start with the bounce back. I think it's super important for us to just flush the game completely. Obviously, it didn't go our way, and there's a lot of things that we just didn't do correctly on both ends of the floor. And so for us, it's about not really harping on that and being able to turn the page. I think every lesson, every opportunity is a way to grow, and I feel like that's always been the topic of conversation this season is just growth and being resilient. And this is a prime example of that. And so for us, it's about turning the page. We have Atlanta coming in. Obviously, they're super talented, and so we just have to be ready for that.
And looking ahead to the All-Star game, how much pride do you take in 3 straight years, being voted every single year into it, and now starter the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a blessing. I feel like every opportunity to be an all-star, and for me, being able to be an all-star every year is just a blessing that I don't take for granted. For the fans that voted, just the opportunity, the doors that God have opened for me, like put me in this position. And so, I mean, I'm just excited. I think it's awesome that we're going to have it here in Indy. I think the fans show up every single night for us. And so I can only imagine how even more exciting the hype it's going to be to have everyone in town.
How did you find out ultimately that Caitlin selected you first? Did she tell you and give you a heads up about what went down? Or
what did she say? Did she say that she told me? Well, honestly, when they said she was a captain, I was like in the back and I was like, pick me. And she just started laughing. But honestly, I'm super excited. I think being able to play with her and Kels once again, that's always a great opportunity. And I feel like the three of us continue to give Gamebridge always a nice little show. And so it's going to be great as an all-star with everyone else surrounding us.
You know, Aliyah, you talked about this in the past, but your dad made a court for you and you're such a growing up.
Yeah.
And so when you're in the season, you obviously don't have many times to reflect or look back or things like that. But during All-Star Weekend, is that one of those moments you can kind of stop and be like, dang, like.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And especially because my parents, they come up to, my mom told me, she asked my dad, she was like, do you want to go for All-Star? My dad was like, are you kidding me? We're not missing that. And so I think they always enjoy, and it's always a blessing to be able to look back and think about where I came from, a little girl from an island, and now playing on the biggest stage. I mean, I think it's just such a blessing that I never take for granted.
In the pregame, how do you manage trying to sign autographs and pose for selfies with getting ready for the actual game?
Yeah, I mean, I always do it in between my warm-up and chapel. And for me, I always try to make sure I can sign a couple because people, they pay their money. They're super excited to meet us. So even just to take a picture, an autograph, I think it's just super special because once again, like they're a big part of this. They fill the seats. They cheer for us all the time. And so just to make them feel that love also.
Does it break your heart when you got to run?
Yeah, I know it does. It does. But I always tell them I'm going to chapel, so I know God is okay, and I know He's not mad at me.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I guess I'll start. What was the number one message to the team today after the loss like yesterday?
It was just that we got to bounce back. Like, we got to be better. Our attention to detail has to be better. We've got to stop waiting for someone else to do it. And we've got to lock in and put first things first and do it.
Stephanie, with the word consistency being thrown around, how you're all kind of trying to find that. I know that's mental as much as it is physical. How do you coach something like that, though?
Yeah, I think you got to teach. We talk about how we do anything is how we do everything, right? We've got to teach consistency in our habits. We have not had any consistency. Yesterday was the first time that we've had all of our roster, so we haven't had any consistency there. We haven't had everybody on the floor in a practice in a long time. And so I think we just have to take, micro steps into building that. It can't just be talking about it, though. We've got to build it on the floor. We can't have regression and going back to reteaching things that we've been doing since training camp. There's got to be an accountability there. And then I think we have to build more continuity on both ends of the floor. And I think you've seen it in spells. But again, now we reintegrate C, we reintegrate DD, and we've got to be able to continue to build that continuity on both ends of the floor.
What's that balance of trying to build continuity, but also realizing, I think Sophie said it, like, we don't have like a bunch of games. Like, we do have to have that sense of urgency.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a sense of urgency, but you also, it's not something that happens just because we want it to, right? It's got to be organic. It's got to be something that is built in practice when we're going through offense, when we're going through defense. Just because you say you want it doesn't mean that it happens. And I think you started to see that through some of our games where it's, okay, now we knew exactly where our teammate was going to be. We knew exactly that they had our back. We were able to play with multiple levels of intentional effort. And now when you reintegrate more players back into the lineup, it's trying to figure that out again. And there's no substitute for that other than reps together.
Sophie used the word pissed off to describe how the team felt. Would you say that was accurate after yesterday? And is that something that can kind of galvanize, or is it important not to let the emotions get too heightened.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you don't want to get too high or too low, but I think, pissed off, sense of urgency, back against the wall. I think that there has to be a level of desperation in how we play. And I don't mean desperate like panic. I mean desperate like you don't have a margin for error. Right, this league is too good. Players are too good. It's as deep as it's ever been. There's not a lot of margin for error. So a sense of urgency and desperation in how we go about doing the things that we do has to be there.
Going up against Atlanta, I mean, it's not an easy matchup. So is that even more important, or what kind of things, kind of more basketball specific, or have you worked on to go into that game tomorrow? Yeah, it is, and I think for us, handling their size on the interior, making their catches difficult, not allowing opponents to play to their strength, and as coaches and our scouts, like we're willing to live with certain actions, and we're willing to live with certain shots within offense. So we've got to take away like their top priority, and then we've got to be willing to live with. These are great players. We got to be willing to live with some things, and then we got to finish plays. And so for us, yes, there's going to be certain actions that we want to take away. There's going to be certain places on the floor that we are willing to allow them to catch the ball, and we've got to be really elite in that execution.
A couple of all-star questions for you as we look ahead for a special. How cool is it to have Indy just embrace the W and have it be invading next weekend?
No, it's exciting. I mean, certainly, we put on a show like nobody else. I saw it in NBA All-Star as well, but it's just an exciting time for our city, for our state, and really fortunate to be able to have the best players in the world to be able to showcase their talent.
With Tamika specifically, how nice is it to see the city really rally around her and honor her throughout the weekend too?
It's incredible. I mean, obviously she's one of the pillars of this franchise, of this organization, and she was the first of many different things that we had here for the Indiana Fever. So I'm thankful that she's getting her flowers.
The crowd yesterday was packed with little Indiana Fever fans. How do you help players navigate engaging with a very popular, with fandom while also trying to get ready for actual play?
I don't know if that's something that we have to pre-produce, so to speak. I think it's really organic for our players. A lot of our players were those little girls in the stands, right? They did watch the W. I think we no longer have anybody on rosters that didn't see the WNBA. And so I think they know how important it is to be able to interact with your role models and your heroes. And they take great pride in that. I think that's one of the great things about our league. It has been from day one. We are very boots on the ground, integrated into community, and understand that if you see her, you can be her, and we take great pride in that.
How do you feel just personally when you look up at the crowd and see that level of fandom?
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. Again, like I've been in this state most of my life, as an athlete and as a coach, and to see the growth for our franchise specifically, it's incredible. And once the ball tips, it's a game again, and I don't really hear anything. But it shows how far this league has come, how far this franchise has come. But a lot of these young women are used to playing in sold-out arenas in college. Like they're used to that. It's not something new to them.
It's a bit corny, but they say basketball is different here, and I believe it because I've covered high school sports and all that here. We got an airport court over at the airport. They, Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, all the big gyms. Like, how do you think that this will just add to maybe just the history of basketball in this state, having the first WNBA All-Star weekend here?
I think it just shows how important this sport is in the state of Indiana. We whether you play it or not, you live it in this state. It's you follow it. In the colleges, you follow it in the high schools, you follow it in the professional ranks. We take great pride in being Hoosiers and being basketball junkies. And so I think it's just another opportunity for us to showcase that.